So in the previous class, I explained you the concept of tolerance groups for GL accounts. Now today we will see how to define the tolerance groups for GL accounts. Path is starting with SPRO, means it is also the job of the consultant. SPRO, financial accounting, general ledger accounting, business transactions, open item clearing, clearing differences, define tolerance groups for GL accounts. Click on new entries. Please don't write now. First click at the screen. Company code is equal to SSKH. Tolerance group A. Suppose, for example, if you want to define the tolerance groups like this, right? Tolerance group A, name is equal to upper limit 150, right? Debit posting 150, credit posting 150. Click on save. Again, we need to define tolerance group B, right? So click on next entry button. This is called next entry button, right? So again, you enter the company code, tolerance group identification, then description, then you enter the respective values. Then you click on save. Again, click on next entry button, enter the values. Like that, we can go on defining any number of tolerance groups, right? Now you write down the notes, material, write down now. Company code is equal to SSKH. Tolerance group blank, means keep that field as blank. Tolerance group blank. Write down blank. Keep the field blank. Within brackets, keep the field blank. Description, blank tolerance group for SSKH. Description, blank tolerance group for SSKH. After that, please write down. Debit posting is equal to 1000. Debit posting is equal to 1000 rupees. Credit posting also, credit posting is equal to 1000 rupees. Credit posting is equal to 1000 rupees. Click on save. Now write down. Some space is there in the material, right? Please write down. The blank tolerance group. The blank tolerance group is also called, the blank tolerance group is also called null tolerance group. Null tolerance group. The values of the blank tolerance group, the values of the blank tolerance group, the values of the blank tolerance group is applicable to all the GL accounts, is applicable to all the GL accounts which is not assigned with which is not assigned with any tolerance group. Which is not assigned with any tolerance group. See here, after defining the tolerance groups, we assign the tolerance groups in every GL account master record. See here, let us go to another company code. See here, in the GL account, we have one field tolerance group. Suppose if we assign the tolerance group A, then the upper limits of the tolerance group A 150 is applicable to this GL account. That means if the balance in this GL account is equal to 150 or less than 150, that will be transferred to profit and loss account. If the balance in the GL account is more than the upper limit of the tolerance group A, that will be transferred to balance sheet. For example, you don't assign any tolerance group here. In that case, right, the values of the blank tolerance group, that is 1000, 1000, is applicable to the residual balances in this GL account. That is the, so in addition to the number of tolerance groups, normally we also define one blank tolerance group also in the real-time projects. Now, define tolerance groups for employees. So here, employees means employees in the finance and accounts department. So what is the tolerance groups for employees? For the employees of the accounting department, we define the upper limits for posting procedures. Posting procedures means posting activities. With the help of the tolerance groups for employees, we can control the posting activities of the employees in the finance and accounts department. The following are the posting procedures. So you take any employee as far as postings are concerned, right? Remember, as far as only postings are concerned, right? These are the postings they have to do. Number one, the amount of a document an employee can post into GL accounts, vendor accounts, customer accounts, and asset accounts. So here, the amount of a document means business transaction. The amount of a business transaction an employee can post into GL accounts, vendor accounts, customer accounts, and asset accounts. You take any employee. As far as the business transactions are concerned, they have to post a business transaction either in the GL account type, vendor account type, customer account type, and asset account type. So for that activity, we set up the upper limit. Then the amount of the open item he can deal with. So open item means pending purchase invoice is called open item. Pending sales invoice is also called open item. So on the pending purchase invoice, you make the payment to vendor, and on the pending sales invoice, we have to receive the payment from the customer. When you make the payment to vendor or when you receive the payment from customer, that is to be posted by the employee only. That is another posting activity. For that activity, we set up the upper limit. Then the percentage of cash discount he can offer or post means sometimes. Suppose, for example, one vendor is there. We purchase raw material for 1 lakh from him. And he said, if we make the payment in 30 days, he will give us 3% cash discount. Okay, we did the payment in 30 days. Then the vendor will give the 3% cash discount. That is called cash discount received. So the cash discount received is also to be posted by the employee only in the books of accounts. Similarly, sometimes when the customer makes the payment to us within a stipulated time, we will give them cash discount. So cash discount given to customer is called cash discount paid. So the cash discount paid is also to be posted by the employee only. So whether we receive the cash discount or pay the cash discount, that is to be paid, posted by the employee only in the books of accounts. That is another activity, posting activity. For that activity, we set up the upper limit. Then the amount of payment difference he can accept. Means, say for example, one customer is there and the invoice amount is 10,000. So he has to pay 10,000 on the sales invoice, right? Today he paid 8,000, saying that remaining 2,000 he will pay later on, right? So this 2,000 is called payment difference. basically. So whether the employee is authorized to accept the payment difference of 2,000 or not. So these are the posting activities, right? So we define number of tolerance groups, right, with the upper limits for these posting activities. See, in our training class, we are defining 4 tolerance groups. Tolerance group A, tolerance group B, tolerance group C, and tolerance group D. So under each group, we define the upper limits for each posting activity. Under tolerance group A, see, first posting activity is the amount of a document an employee can post into GL accounts, vendor accounts, customer accounts, and asset accounts. So for that activity, we set up upper limit, 1 lakh under group A, or 100,000 under group A, 200,000 under group B, 300,000 under group C, and 400,000 under group D, sorry. Then the amount of the open item he can post. So posting of amount received on the pending sales invoice, posting of amount paid on the pending purchase invoice. Right? For that activity, under group A, we define the upper limit as 1,50,000, group B 2,50,000, group C 3,50,000, group D 5 lakhs. And remember, these amount limits, as a consultant, we cannot decide on our own. These amount limits, we cannot decide on our own, right? Always the accounts department people will tell you their requirements. So based on their suggestions and recommendations only, we set up these upper limits. Remember, the end users, right? They have the business process knowledge, right? And we have the SAP system knowledge as a consultant. So always we have to take into their recommendations into consideration, and based on their requirements and recommendations, we develop the configuration. Now, the percentage of cash discount he can offer or post. 0% under group A, 1% under group B, 2% under group C, 5% under group D. Then the amount of payment difference he can accept. So 1,000 under group A, 2,000 under group B, 4,000 under group C, 5,000 under group D. Like that, we define number of tolerance groups. There isn't any limit, right? Then under each tolerance group, we define the upper limits for these 4 posting activities. After that, here we have the number of employees working and concerned with the accounts department or finance and accounts department. Say, for example, under the group 1, we have the junior accountant, junior cashier, and the accountant. Then group 2. Under group 2, we have accounts officer, senior accounts officer. Then under group 3, we have manager finance and senior manager finance. Then under group 4, we have general manager finance and a director finance. So always the postings are to be done by this group 1 employees only. So for every employee, the basis consultant will create one user ID, right? As I have given the user to all of you, right? The basis consultant creates the user IDs for every employee, and those user IDs are given to these employees. Then after defining this tolerance group, what we do as a FI consultant is, based on the requirements of the accounts department, we assign the required tolerance groups to the respective employees. For example, group A tolerance group is assigned to the user IDs of group 1 employees, junior accountant, junior cashier, and accountant. Then group B. Group B is assigned to group 2 employee user IDs. Then group C tolerance group is assigned to user IDs of group 3 employees, manager finance and senior manager finance. Then group D is assigned to the employees of group 4, right? GM finance and director finance. As a result, right? these limits are applicable to these employees as far as postings are concerned. And these limits are applicable to these employees. And Group C limits are applicable to Group 3 employees, and Group D limits are applicable to Group 4 employees, right? As a result, right? Either junior accountant or junior cashier or accountant can post a business transaction either in the GL accounts, vendor accounts, customer accounts, and asset accounts up to an amount of 1 lakh. Up to an amount of 1 lakh. So if the business transaction amount is more than 1 lakh, these people cannot post because their allowable upper limit is 1 lakh only. Then either junior accountant or junior cashier or accountant can post either payment to vendor or payment from customer up to 1,50,000 only. And these people cannot post or cannot grant a discount because their allowable upper limit is 0. And these people cannot accept any payment if the payment difference is more than 1,000. Like that, the limits of the tolerance groups is applicable to the respective employees as far as postings are concerned. And remember, always, right, the postings are done by Group 1 employees only, lower level employees only. And these people will never post any business transactions into books of accounts. Say, for example, today we purchase some raw material, right? Raw material purchase, 3,25,000, right? 3,25,000 invoice amount, right? Then this has to be posted in the books of accounts, right? According to tolerance limits, right? This 3,25,000 is more than the upper limit of Group C and less than upper limit of Group D. And the purchase invoice is to be posted in the vendor accounts, right? Vendor accounts. So first point will come into picture, okay? So the amount of the invoice is 3,25,000, which is more than Group C limit, less than Group D limit. So as per the tolerance groups, right, the purchase invoice of 3,25,000 is to be posted by the either GM Finance or Director Finance, because Group D was assigned to the utilities of GM Finance and Director Finance. Now, the GM Finance and Director Finance will enter the purchase invoices in the books of accounts? Never, right? So always, whatever may be the amount of business transaction, right, they are to be posted by this Group 1 employees only, lower level employees only. But their upper limit is only 1 lakh. So technically, they cannot post. System will not allow them to post, right? That's why, for example, junior accountant, right, is trying to post the invoice of 3,25,000. So he cannot post it as such. That's why the junior accountant will enter this purchase invoice in the system and he will keep it pending for posting to get the approval, either GM Finance and Director Finance. So the junior accountant or junior cashier accountant to post a purchase invoice of 3,25,000, in our example, they have to get the approval either from GM Finance or Director Finance. They have to get the approval or permission to post the invoice of 3,25,000. For that purpose, these people will enter the purchase invoice in the system and they will keep it pending for posting. Then the GM Finance will press one button, then that invoice is posted. This process I will show you in the general ledger accounting. And this process is called parking of documents, right? So the parking of documents I will show you in the general ledger accounting. So at this point of time, what you have to understand is, this is how we can control the posting activities of the employees with the help of the tolerance groups for employees, right? So all this explanation I have given here. See, based on the requirements of the accounts department, the FI consultant will define the number of tolerance groups with upper limits for the above posting procedures. The required tolerance group is assigned to the users. As a result, the upper limits are applicable to those users for postings. When the user has to post a document whose amount is more than his allowable upper limit, he has to get the approval from the respective employee. For this purpose, he keeps the document pending for posting. This is called parked document. So how the documents are parked, right? And how they are released or authorized. I will show you this process in general ledger accounting. Now, at this point of time, you have to define the tolerance groups for employees, right? Path is same as above. Whenever you see path is same as above, you have to click on back arrow till you reach IMG screen. See, define tolerance groups for employees. Click on new entries. Suppose, again, if you want to define the tolerance groups like this, A, right? Then don't write now. Group is equal to A. Again, you can give up to 4 characters. Company code SSKH. See here, upper limits for posting procedures. The amount per document, 1 lakh. Means the amount of a document an employee can post into GL accounts, vendor accounts, and customer accounts. Then the amount per open account item, 1,50,000. Then see these limits I'm entering there. Then cash discount per line item, 0%. Permitted payment differences, 1,000. Revenue 1,000, expense 1,000. Click on save and enter. Now click on next entry. This is called next entry button, right? Again, you enter the group B, company code SSKH, enter the values of group B, right? Now you write down. Group is equal to blank. Group is equal to blank. Company code is equal to SSKH. Company code is equal to SSKH. Then the amount per document, you enter some 8 nines or 9 nines. You enter some 8 nines or 9 nines or 10 nines, whatever you like. I will tell you why. You enter maximum amount. Then the amount per open account item. Again, you enter some 8 nines or 9 nines or 10 nines. Then cash discount per line item, 5%. Cash discount per line item, 5%. After that, write down. Under permitted payment differences, please write down, that is not there in the material. Under permitted payment differences, revenue is equal to 1,500. Revenue is equal to 1,500. The expense is equal to 1,500. The expense is equal to 1,500. Click on save. I will explain you after doing the next step also. See the next step. Assign users to tolerance groups. Path is same as above. Assign users to tolerance groups. Just a minute. Yeah. So assign users to tolerance groups. Click on new entries. Username is equal to, enter your username. I have given the username to all of you, right? So write your username there. Tolerance group blank. Tolerance group blank. Click on save. This is called error message. Look at the screen, everybody, error message. An entry already exists with the same key. Here, my user ID in this particular server is Lakshman, right? So for the previous batch also, I assigned the blank tolerance group to the user Lakshman. That's why it is giving the error message, right? In your case also, right? When you are trying to assign the tolerance group while doing the practice in the second company code, the system will give you the error message. In that case, leave that step and go for the next step, right? Do one thing, write down here. Some space is there, no? Please write down. While assigning the tolerance group, by assigning the tolerance group, don't say by, while assigning the tolerance groups, while assigning the tolerance groups, I'm sorry, again I'm repeating, while assigning the blank tolerance group, while assigning the blank tolerance group to the user ID in the second company code, or in the subsequent company codes, in the second company code or subsequent company codes, the system will give the error message. The system will give the error message. The system will give the error message like within inverted quotations. Within inverted quotations, an entry already exists. An entry already exists with the same key. Inverted quotations close with the same key. In that case, leave that step, go to the next step. Go to the next step. So here, why so? Because you are doing the practice in the server by logging with your username only, right? So for the first company code, you assign the blank tolerance group to your user ID. Then the second company code, third company code also, if you are created, you assign the same, you do the same step, right? That's why it will give the error message. Don't worry. If you get this error message, leave it and go for the next step. Now, here, see, already I have assigned blank tolerance group here. Clear, no? Now, here we have given maximum amounts. Why? We have defined one blank tolerance group, right? And I have given maximum amount. So while doing the practice, right, from tomorrow or day after tomorrow onwards, you have to post end user transactions also. So while posting the end user transactions, you have to fill up the amount column, right? So now we define all these amount limits under the blank tolerance group, and the blank tolerance group is applicable. We assign to user ID, right? As a result, while doing the practice in the amount column, you can enter up to this amount. Suppose if you assign tolerance group A, while doing the practice in the amount column, you have to apply those limits only. You can enter up to those limits only. Means you have to remember those limits. Instead of that, right, we have defined a maximum amount for the blank tolerance group, and the blank tolerance group was assigned to our user ID. As a result, right, we can enter the amount columns up to this amount. That is the reason. Then global parameters. In this activity, we can define various global specifications for the company code. So we can also display all the objects defined and assigned to the company code in the overview screen. While doing the step, I will explain. Transaction code OBY6. Click on position. Company code SSKH. Company code SSKH. Click on enter. Select the company code SSKH. Click on details button. See, till now we have defined a number of objects and assigned to company code. So all those details can be displayed here in this screen. See, company code SSKH, right? Country IN, currency INR, language English. Then we define the chart of accounts SSKH and assign to company code. You can see the chart of accounts assignment. Then our company is SSKH GR. Then our fiscal year variant is V3. Then our field status variant is SSKH. Post-input variant is SSKH, right? So these are all the objects what you have defined assigned to company code team now, right? So all those assignments we can see here. In addition to that, normally for every company code, we select some checkboxes. See the material. Select business area financial statements. This one. Then, number 2, select proposed fiscal year. Select proposed fiscal year. Then, select define default value date. Then, select negative postings permitted. Select negative postings permitted. Click on save. So normally for every company code, we select these 4 checkboxes. So what is the effect of selecting these 4 checkboxes? Go back to notes, please. Go back to notes, please. Then put heading global parameters. Global parameters. Under that, put heading business area financial statements. Business area financial statements. By selecting this checkbox, the system will display the business area field. The system will display the business area field as ready for input. As ready for input. As ready for input. Full stop. So the user enters the business area. So the user enters the business area while posting every business transaction. While posting every business transaction. As a result, the user can prepare the business area financial statements. The user can prepare the business area financial statements. Next, number 2. Propose fiscal year. Propose fiscal year. Number 2, propose fiscal year. By selecting this checkbox, The system will propose the system will default. The system will default the current fiscal year. The system will default the current fiscal year while displaying the documents. While displaying the documents. Next, number 3. Define default value date. Define default value date. By selecting this checkbox, the system will default the current date, within brackets system date, as value date, while posting the business transactions. The user can change the value date. While posting the transactions itself. So these two fields I will show you while posting the business transactions. Next, negative postings permitted. Negative postings permitted. By selecting this checkbox, the system no, not like that. By selecting this checkbox, comma, when the documents are reversed, to rectify the error documents, comma, the system will keep the totals of the account unchanged. The system will keep the totals of the account unchanged. By posting the rectification, on the same side with the negative sign, instead of posting it on the opposite side. Means what? See, we have the rent account. So every month rent is 10,000. On 1/4/2022, we paid and posted to bank 10,000. Again, on 1/5/2022, we paid rent and posted to bank 10,000. Again, on 1/6/2022, we paid and posted to bank 10,000. Okay. But on 1/6/2022, right, we paid salaries 50,000. So salaries account is to be debited. But by mistake, the user has debited rent account 50,000, right? So in SAP, once we post the document, right? Once we post a journal entry, we cannot delete it, right? Or we cannot rectify the amount, or we cannot rectify the account. We have to do only rectification. So reversal is one method of rectification. So we posted to bank 50,000 in the rent account itself, right? So immediately after the mistake, right, he has identified the mistake and he has reversed the document. The user has reversed the document. Like what? Bank account data to rent account, right? So on 1/6/2022, by bank 50,000. Okay. Then for the remaining months, right, the entries are correct. All the entries are correct for the all remaining months. Now, on 31st March 2023, we prepare the P&L account and balance sheet. Then we total all the expenses and the total of expenses transferred to P&L account, right? Now, we are totaling rent account. We are totaling rent account. So on 31st March 2023, we are totaling rent account. How much will be the total on the debit side? See, 12 business transaction the debit side. 12 into 10, 1,20,000 and one wrong posting. So total will be 1,70,000, right? Now, on 31st March 2023, right, by balance transfer to P&L account. $1,20,000. So there is no impact, right? There is no impact on the amount of the rent transfer to P&L account. But if you look at the total, right, you can easily understand that some mistakes have been done in the rent posting, right? That's why what happens is, if you select the negative postings checkbox, negative postings permitted checkbox, then the system will keep the totals of the account unchanged. The system will keep the totals of the account unchanged by posting the rectification on the same side with the negative sign. The system will post the rectification on the same side with the negative sign instead of posting it on opposite side. Now you total this rent account, debit side, plus minus cancelled. So total will be 1,20,000. Clear, no? That is the impact if you select negative postings permitted. Then what about other checkboxes? What about other checkboxes? How do we know what is the impact of selecting other checkboxes in the real-time implementation projects? Sometimes we may have to select other checkboxes also based on the requirement of the organization, right? In that case, how do we know? It is not possible, obviously, to explain you every field in every screen, right? In that case, how do we know in the real time? Say, for example, discount basis net value. So what is the impact if you select this discount basis net value? So for that purpose, just keep the cursor on the checkbox, press F1. Not only here, everywhere. If you press on F1, right, the system will display the notes. This is SAP documentation, right? See, indicator with the effect that the sales tax is not contained in the base amount for discount calculation. See, indicator with the effect that the sales tax is not contained in the base amount for discount calculation. That means, say for example, right, today we sold some goods to a customer, right? So base amount is base amount of the invoice is 1 lakh. Okay, on this. So base amount means it contains your cost of production plus your profit percentage. That is the base amount, right? Then add 10% GST. $10,000, right? So total amount is 1,10,000. So the invoice amount is 1,10,000. Then we told the customer that if he makes the payment in 10 days, we will give him 3% cash discount, right? Now he paid the amount on 10th day, so we have to give him the cash discount. So here the question is, the 3% cash discount is to be calculated on what amount? Do we have to calculate the 3% on 1,10,000 or base amount? Base amount only we have to calculate, because here this 1,10,000 is not our total revenue. Out of this 1,10,000, right, 10,000 the GST, which is to be deposited to the government later on. So it's a liability, right? Our actual revenue is 1 lakh only. In that case, right, the cash discount percentage to be calculated on the base amount, right? Then if that is the requirement, if you select discount basis net value, then the system will calculate the 3% discount on the base amount. So like that, this is called help documentation, right? So at this point of time, you may not be able to understand the SAP terminology and the grammar, right? These are very, very grammatically constructed. These notes is very, very grammatically constructed by the SAP company, right? So sometimes we may not be able to understand, right, the terminology here. But once you put up some experience with the SAP terminology, then you will be able to understand. Now, suppose, for example, see here, negative postings permitted. Press F1. See, indicator that the transaction figures on the original side of the account are reset again rather than being increased on the other side of the account when the documents are reversed. See the language there. If you have set this indicator, then the account balance of the account in question is represented as though the document had never been posted after the document is released. Otherwise, the transaction figures of the account would be increased by the same amount on the debit and credit side due to the document and reversal document. So like that, right, you can go through the help documentation. You will be able to understand the purpose of every field. So it is too much grammatical. You have noticed, right? This I have told you in our normal language. Right? So with this, our basic settings are over. So between ECC and S4HANA, right? Till now, there is no any changes. The same screens you will also find in S4HANA also. Same settings, same screens also. Same settings also we have to do in S4HANA. Then same screens also available in S4HANA. So till now, there are no any changes in S4HANA. Now, along with today's recording, I will send you another material, right? FI material, right? So this material contains 227 pages. Take the printout of this material and get it spiral bound. Then all the settings are to be copied into the new material. I have given you till now 28 pages of material, right? So from that material, you copy those settings into new material. Same 28 pages material is also repeated here. So you copy the settings from the old material to this new material, then you can discard the old material. So from tomorrow onwards, you have to keep this material only in your class, right? So first to take the printout of this material, 227 pages, then get it spiral bound, then copy the settings from the previous material to this material, and we discard the old material. So tomorrow we start general ledger accounting, right? Any questions from anybody? Yeah, Venkatraman.
Jyotish, sir.
Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Sir, tolerance group, if we define the employee groups, that we need to be informed to any changes to the consultant or end user can be changed.
No, end user cannot change as such because the path is given from SPRO.
Okay.
Right? There is support team. So support team also contains the consultants. So if necessary, the support team will make the changes.
Okay. One more dot, sir. And this we are executing the path and we have the transaction code. We are entering the transaction code directly. It will be go. Is there any path along with the transaction code? Can we see?
Yeah, I already explained you.
Okay.
I already explained you, right? Please remind me tomorrow. I will show you before the class. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, I
Chandra,
have
tell
one
me.
doubt. Jyotish, sir.
Yes, sir. In tolerance group for general ledger accounts, we have made a blank tolerance group under which we have defined upper limit for a capital account is 1500. If capital account ledger goes down by 1000, immediately that 1000 will be transferred to profit and loss account.
No, not like that. See, actually, these tolerance groups will be assigned in some balance sheet GL accounts, not all the balance sheet GL accounts, right?
Okay.
So these tolerance groups are assigned in the GL accounts like outstanding expense account, outstanding revenue account, prepaid expense account, then incomes received in advance accounts, provision accounts, etc., etc. Not in the other balance sheet accounts.
Okay.
And account, billings account, etc. But in that case, right, I don't want to see the tolerance group field in the share capital account.
Yes.
Right? That I will explain you at the end of the general lecture.
Okay.
Sir? Sir, what's value date basically?
Value date is the expected date of realization of funds involved in the bank instruments.
Sorry, can you repeat?
it is the expected date of realization of funds involved in the bank instruments like check, demand draft, etc. This I explained you in the previous in the field status variant class, right? Please refer
Yeah.
to that video. I explained you along with the example.
Sure, sir.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Then
sir.
Arha. See, we use the special posting periods at the time of adjustments. Once we prepare the financial statements, then we close the special periods. Okay, Arha?
Sir, this said,
Yeah, Abhishek.
yeah. So, sir, I was having a doubt regarding this open item clearing.
Uh,
So, for open an item clearing, so for some balance sheet GL, like we do the open item, right?
yes.
So, if we tag a particular, GL with suppose 100 rupees, for example, the tolerance group. So if the difference for that GL is coming lower than that 100 rupees, then we can, write it off to any particular, to the profit and loss account, right? The system will allow the user to write off to a particular
Yes. Yes, exactly.
profit.
Yes,
And
that
if
is the
it
purpose
and
of the tolerance groups only.
okay, and if it is more than 100 rupees, then the system will not allow the user to do a write-off, right?
Exactly.
It will carry on to the balance sheet.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So another thing is that for the in respect to tolerance group of employee, we have also their permitted difference between revenue and this expenses. So what is the
Yes.
uses of that? I mean,
So we
in
have one
GL, we have
scenario. Yeah, and I understood your point. We have one scenario, right, wherein the tolerance group for employees will be coming into picture, right? This we will discuss in accounts payable and account receipt.
okay, okay. Sir.
So while writing it up to balance sheet, while writing it up to P&L account, the system also considers whether the user is having the authorization to write it off or not from the amount perspective.
Okay.
This I will clearly show you, right? At the time of defining our own payment terms, this I will show you. And
Okay,
how
sir.
the system also transfers it to P&L account also I will show you practically.
Okay. Okay, sir. Got it. Thank you.
So Mahesh is asking one question. If you won't give the tick mark for the reversing document, then what happens is the totals will be 1,70,000 on both sides. The totals will be 1,70,000 on both sides.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, then see you tomorrow. Good night and good day.